Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurame Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Swaminarayanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sajananda Swami Maharajaya Namaha. Om Shri Hari Krishna Maharajaya Namaha. Om Shri Ghansham Maharajaya Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to SwaminarayanSpirituality.com. This is Sachin. Today is the 24th of December 2022. I want to offer my Dandavat Pranam prostrations to all the great sages in the past, present, and in the future, and to the Supreme Paramatma residing in the heart of all beings. With that prarthana, we are continuing our exploration, exposition, and contemplation on Shri Vachanamrut, and we are continuing further today on Garada Pratham number 1. Still on the second paragraph. Remember, the first paragraph is where Maharaj is sitting, what time it is, who's in front of him, like that. All the Vachanamrut begin this way. So this is the second paragraph of the very first Vachanamrut. And to continue from last time, we have been talking about the Swarupa of Bhagavan, the Akhanda Vritti, the concept of Akhanda Vritti, that our continuous flow of emotions, feelings, thoughts, actions are God-centered, God-centric, are revolving around the murti, around the form of Paramatma. So we talked about this to some extent last time, about how Maharaj used this word, Manushana manni vritti bhagwanna sarma akhand rahe che. So it remains there. It remains there continuously. Now we want to go a bit further. What happens if Akhanda Vritti is reached? This is the goal. The whole Vachanamrut 273 or 262, however you want to look at it, the entire series of talks and questions and answers is about this one thing only. That is Akhanda Vritti. That is unbroken connection with Bhagavan. And that is a universal concept. It's not a question of religious affiliation or sampradaya or groupism or tradition in that sense. This is for every human being to accomplish this or to be in that state of being. So to continue further, what is it that occurs? What is the experience of a bhakta, an ekantik bhakta, who is approaching Akhanda Vritti or is in that state of Akhanda Vritti? So this is a very evolved state of connection with Bhagavan, where every disturbance of the mind is gone completely. There is just an absorption in divine contemplation and worship, upasana, of the form of Paramatma, that Bhagavan with form, sakar upasana. That is what is taught in Vachanamrut all the way through. Nirakar means formless. So Nirakar is called Anvay Shakti. It is the Antaryami Shakti. Even that functions as Sakar. Again, that is a more extensive subject about the Swarup. We will get to that definitely later on. But as far as this Vachanamrut is concerned, Maharaj is emphasizing the glory, the importance, and the power of unbroken connection with God, with the Ishta Devata, and through Guru Krupa. So here Maharaj is saying further, that if Akhanda Vritti is established, what happens? He says here, Tem Bhagwan ni murti ne vishe, jena manya Akhanda Vritti rahe che. Te to Jeev, Ishwar, Maya ane Brahma, emna swarupne jo jovane icche, to tatkal dekhe che. Tatha Vaikuntha, Golok, Brahma Mohol, e adik je Bhagwan na dham, che, tene pan dekhe che. So this is a big sentence. We're going to spend today and probably several more times just talking about this one sentence only. So here Maharaj is saying that when Akhanda Vritti is established, it remains. First one has to establish. That is sadhana. Then there's the state of being established, being connected. That is sthiti. So two words, sadhana and sthiti. So here Maharaj is referring to sthiti. Vachanamrut covers 3 stages. One is sadhana stage, and then the middle is the first stage is the bondage stage. What is the nature of bondage? That is actually going to be the second question by the Haribhakta Shet Govardhan Bhai. That will come later on in our conversation. So the description of bondage is throughout Vachanamrut. That is the bondage of Maya, bondage within Maya. The second point, the second big area covered, is the process shown, the sadhanas shown. Multitude sadhanas are shown to try by the devotee to come out of Maya, and along those lines, the greatest and the most difficult sadhana is akhanda vritti. Akhanda means unbroken connection of the entire antakarana and the senses, etc. with God, with Bhagavan. That is description of sadhana. And the third point made in Vachanamrut is a description of sthiti. S-T-I-T-H-I, sthiti. What is sthiti? Sthiti is a stage of realization. It is a state of realization. It is realization. It is a state of attainment, a state of grace. Attainment is there, but it is grace. It is God's grace. Bhagwan ni krupa. Bhagwan ki krupa, in Hindi we can say. It is a state of grace on the bhakta by Paramatma. So in that state of grace, what is it that happens? So here in this line, Maharaj has talked about sadhana already. Now what is he talking about? Let's look at the line again. Tem Bhagwan ni murti ne vishe jena manni akhand vritti rahe chhe. See this point here, up to this point. Tem Bhagwan ni murti ne vishe jena manni akhand vritti rahe chhe. Rahe chhe means it remains established. This is sthiti. It is a description of sthiti. This is the power of Vachanamrut. So now he has described the most difficult sadhana. Now he's describing the sthiti. But the question that will always come into our mind, wait a minute, how do I do this sadhana? What should I do? Where am I? How am I supposed to progress further? How do I get into akhanda vritti? All of those questions are going to be answered throughout Vachanamrut. They're actually answered from inside of us if we try to get into akhanda vritti. Or then everything will come inside there. Every kind of knowledge and understanding comes in there. Then Santa Samagam and all the different other sadhanas, everything is embedded in akhanda vritti. The revelation occurs from inside. So anyway, so here Maharaj is saying that he's going to describe the sthiti, the state of realization, Brahmi sthiti, we can say Brahmi sthiti, establishment in the Brahman, establishment in the identity of the Jivatma and the Brahman Nijatmanam Brahmarupam, Dehat Traya Vilakshanam, Shikshapatri, Shlok 116. So, that state of Brahmic state, to establish that state is assumed in this. Although directly he has not mentioned that directly here. But he has mentioned it actually he's mentioned it in a different way here. So it is already assumed that the bhakta has reached the Brahmic state. My goodness, see the power of this one paragraph. Absolutely mind-boggling and absolutely extraordinary. I mean, it is mind-boggling in many ways, but it is beyond the mind. That's why. It's an assumption that the bhakta has evolved into that state where the entire Bhagavad Gita is living inside the person. This Vachanamrut starts there. It starts this line here, Tem Bhagwan ni murti ne vishe jena manni akhanda vritti rahech. That line implies that the individual is digested and is living in the Bhagavad Gita, is living in every siddhant of the Gita. 100%. Not 99%. That is really what this is saying. Because the entire Gita is about akhanda vritti. The entire Gita is showing in different ways, multitude ways. Ananyas chintayanto mam. I can show you verse after verse. No problem. Total surrender to God is in the Gita. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Akshar Yoga, Purushottam Yoga, Brahma Yoga, every yoga, mantra yoga is in the Gita. And if you pull them all together, if you take 700 verses of the Gita, you can extract them to only 2 words, akhanda vritti. Mai avesha manoe mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaste me yukta tamamataha. That is the Gita, chapter 12. The entire chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, is covered in these 2 words, akhanda vritti. So, if or when a bhakta is at that stage where the mental activity of the antakarana, which has reflection in the body also, when the mental activity of the antakarana and its connection with the body is connected beautifully with the swarup of Paramatma. That is the whole point. It is the connection with the swarup of Paramatma. Just a moment here. So here again, tem Bhagwanni murti ne vishay jena manni akhanda vritti rahe. Vishay means what? This word doesn't mean vishaya, the objects of the senses. No, that's not what this word means. It means surrounding God, around God all the time. You know, when people are doing this pradikshana, the clockwise pradikshana done in most Hindu temples. Why is that done? It is a sadhana. You're walking, it is called circambulation, if I'm saying that word right. And you're going around clockwise. It is to establish inside the heart and inside the mind and inside the brain and inside every part of the body that Bhagwan Nimurti, the Murti of Paramatma, the Swarup of Paramatma, is in the center of my life, is in the center of my heart, is in the center of my being. That is the power, and that is why the pradikshina is done. So that is one of the sadhanas. So here Maharaj is saying that in every situation, in any experience of life, while the experiences of life are going on, the vritti is connected with Paramatma. So last time we talked about prapti, vritti and prapti. Prapti, as in the example, if you have, somebody has given or somehow you've inherited or whatever, a $1 billion check. You have it with you. That is called prapti. It's your name, but it will be deposited a year from now. So you will not get another one. So you will have to keep it safe and whatnot. You have to lock it up and all that. Not for 1 second will you forget where it is. And your mind is always revolving around that check. Even if you're doing everything else, some part of your mind is attached to that check. Is it not so? That's what this is like. This is even more than that. That's what this word vishay means. Bhagwanni murtine vishay jena manni akhanda vritti rahe. If you have $1 billion check that is going to be cashed a year from now, your vritti will remain there. It doesn't mean you'll be looking at that check 24 hours a day. You'll keep it, but your mind will be there. Some part of your mind will never lose sight of that. You'll make sure that it is secure, it is safe, nobody else has access to it, nobody steals it, that it's not lost, it's not forgotten, it's not torn, it's not damaged, nothing like that. So none of those things would happen. Similarly, the bhakta ensures, my God, mujhko kya mila hai? I have Bhagwan swayam mil gaye. Bhagwan ki prapti ho gayi. Oh my God. और क्या चाहिए? What else do we want? That is the realization of the Swarup. Kiski prapti hui? That is the question. If a multi-billionaire like Mr. Gates, Bill Gates, comes and stays and says, I'm going to stay with you for 1 week, and you can have anything you want. I have all kinds of Aishwarya. Kiski prapti hui? That's a worldly example. Ye to Bhagwan hai Swayam. God is Paramatma. Beyond everything, beyond the kiski prapti hui? Everything else is limited, restricted compared to that. That mahima, meaning glory, of the prapti, of who I have obtained, that mahima, once it is awakened inside the heart, and if it is what is Maharaj is called also, later on in Vachanamrut, he uses the expression asadharan mahima. Asadharan means extraordinary. If a 2-year-old child sees that $1 billion check, they just see it as a piece of paper, make a small airplane out of it and throw it somewhere. That's what most people are doing with regards to this entire spirituality. They just use it as a spare tire. They don't know what it is. They don't know what is the power and glory of adhyatmic sadhana, of the prapti of the Swarup of Paramatma, in terms of Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Ram, Sajanand Swami Maharaj, other forms of the avatars and incarnations. What is the mahima behind that? Once that is realized, you cannot forget. The forgetting Bhagavan, losing connection with Paramatma, is Maya. That is the answer Maharaj has given in the second question here. But here Maharaj is talking about, he's describing very clearly the state of Akhanda Vritti, if it is there, when it is there. Akhanda Vritti in the Swarupa Paramatma, which we've already talked about to some extent at least. We'll keep talking about it further as we move ahead. That the Swarupa Paramatma is so extraordinary that why would you want anything other than that Ananda Kanda, that supreme being, where joy and joy or Ananda, everything is just a particle of that Swarup. What more can anybody want? That is the purest of high. Even the word pure is not adequate. That is a word with sattva gun. It's beyond purity. So Maharaj is saying here that when this vritti is akhand, continuous, and it is remaining, it is remaining without break. Wow. My God, that is the thing. Then Bhagwan ni murti ne vishe jena manni akhand vritti rahe che. This is a description of the highest of bhakti stage, upasana stage, highest of all the yogas. What happens next? Look at this sentence now. This is really something. One extraordinary sentence. Maharaj is saying, once this vritti is remaining there without break, rahe che te to, te meaning such a person, such a bhakta, te to jeev, Ishwar, Maya, ane Brahma. Temna swarup ne jo jovane icche, to tatkal dekhe che. See this. Such a bhakta at the highest stages of akhanda vritti. If the desire comes, if a sankalpa comes, if the ichha comes, that's what Maharaj has used the word ichha. Jovane ichhe means he wants to see, he or she, whoever it is, wants to see the Swarupa. Wants to see, what is the Atma like? That who am I? The Jivatma. What is that Atma Tattva? So Maharaj has given a guarantee here. He says here, to tatkal. Tatkal means without the boundary of time. At that moment, it appears. What is the Jivatma? Now, this is not a matter of philosophy or intellectualization. It is not a matter of conceptualization. It is not a matter of any sadhana even. There's no sadhana in this. It is not a matter of wanting to wait for spiritual experience. No, not at all. Maharaj is using the word tatkal. Tatkal means in the moment that sankalpa arises, and again the word sankalpa is probably not the right word. It is an ichha, it is a desire, but it's not like our ordinary desire. I can sit here and say, I want to see the Jivatma, and it doesn't mean that I can see the Jivatma. I can believe I'm the Atma and all that. That's okay. But there's a stage, a psychological, evolved state, where the mind is so purified, it is absorbed in the Swarup of Paramatma, in absolute ekantiki bhakti. And it is in that state he's talking about. It is in that state of unbroken connection that a desire comes about. But it is not a desire like an egotistical desire like we have for the senses and the objects of the senses and other things. Like, it's not that kind of desire. This is just a desire that comes up and says, I want to see what is this Atma. Maharaja said, you will see it right away. You will be in the state of realization. But it all hinges upon akhanda vritti, unbroken connection, and breakage occurs again and again. That is called sadhan dasha. Dasha means state. Sadhan, state of doing sadhana. In the siddha state, this is the siddha state he's describing. In the siddha state, there is just opening of all the spiritual dimensions. So now what is it that the individual can see? He uses the word jeev here. This is the word jeev. It means one's own atma, but not only one's own atma. No. You can see, if such desire is there, the atma tattva of each being. Thousands of beings, hundreds of thousands of beings. There's no limit. Infinite jivatma. What God sees, sa aikshataha. That is also a reference from the Vedas in the Vachanamrut. What Bhagwan sees in Akshardham, in the Akshardham ke jo dhami, the Akshardham and the Akshardhami. Dhami is the one that is residing inside the Akshardham, that is beyond the Akshara Brahma. Dham means residence, abode. We'll get to that in just a moment here. Well, maybe not just a moment, maybe several hours from now, I don't know when. Vaikuntha Dham, Goloka Dham, Brahma Mohol. These are all Dham. Dham means abode, place of residence. So Bhagavan Purushottam Parabrahma Narayan resides in Akshardham. That is the residence. And that Mool Swarup, it is the final and Mool Swarup. It's called Mool Swarup in Swaminarayan Sampradaya. Mool Swarup means the ultimate, the root Swarup. Mool means the root Swarup from which all the other incarnations come. Is only one. We say this naturally in our lives. We say God is one. Of course. God is only one. The names are many, forms are many, Aishwaryas are many, avatars are many, everything is many. But the Tattva is only one. That Tattva that exists inside the Akshardham, beyond Akshara Brahma, that is called Bhagavan Purushottam in Vachanamrut, or Sri Krishna Purushottam. Aksharatit Sri Krishna Purushottam. This kind of language is used. We get to all that eventually. That Paramatma can see by its own power infinite number of Jivatma. Just take, for example, in our life, we go for a walk outside. We see a dog, a cat, and insects, and we see trees. We see certain number of living beings with different bodies. But we are not able to see the Jivatma that is there in those bodies. So the Ananta Koti, infinite number of Jivatma, is part of the Vishishta Advait Vedantic Tattva Gnyan. Advaita looks at it a little differently. It's just from a different angle. It's nothing different about it, really. But the fact of the matter, at least from where we are in our life, when a person passes away, that person is gone. Not everybody's not gone. Everybody's still here. Everybody else is here. New people are coming. Other people are going in and out of this world. But the Jivatma is an imperishable entity. Now, just to give a further reference on this, I'm going to show you a slide here of one of the verses from Shikshapatri. So let me find that very quickly. Okay, I have found it here. Just a moment. So in the Shikshapatri, this is verse number 105. Okay, so this is the description by Bhagwan Swaminarayan, meaning Swami Sajanand Ji Maharaj, on what is this Jivatma. It's a description. Again, in Vachanamrut, he's talking about the realization of this tattva that is the Jiv. Here, Shikshapatri, Maharaj is giving an understanding for the devotees what the Jivatma is. So it's very clear and it's very interesting. And I'll translate it for you. So there's the Sanskrit on top, the Gujarati, and the English translation, which is mostly okay, but may not be 100% all right. All right, so here is the Gujarati, which is what I'll read. Okay, Ane je jeev che, te hruday ne vishe rahyo che. First point Maharaj is making here in Shikshapatri, that the jeev, that is the chaitanya, that is the consciousness that you are, it is residing in the heart. So our physical heart is there, then the Anahat Chakra there, but the location is in the heart. It's not a physical thing, it's a non-material, non-physical thing. That's the first point Maharaj made. Then he said, Ane anu sarkho sukshma che. He says it is atomic. The Jivatma is like a anu. Anu means like it's an atomic entity. Very, very tiny. I mean, it's beyond, it's like a subatomic particle, even more subtle than that. Because that's the way to understand that it's not something gross or physical. That's why this is used here, and this is actually from this description is from the Upanishad also. Anu Raniyan Mahato Mahiyan, like this. Anu sarko sukshma che. Sarko meaning like. That's a comparison. Like a monadic atomic particle, it is very, very subtle. It is sukshma, the Jivatma. The next point Maharaj makes here, he says here, ne chetan roop che. What does that mean? Chetan means it is the life force. It is what is giving us life. Our experience of life is because there is Jivatma. That is who you are. Okay, so that is the next way to understand. Then Maharaj said, ne meaning ane means and. It is the knower. Ne janaro che, the knower. This is all of Vedanta is in this. Just in those what I've highlighted there on the screen. Ne janaro che. Janaro means the one who knows all experience. Janaro means one who is aware. We talked about awareness a lot. This is awareness. Janpanu is awareness. Janaro is one who is aware. So awareness is an aspect of the Atma. It is just one aspect of the Atma. Ne janaro che. Che means it is in Gujarati. It is the one who is knowing all of experience, the entire field of experience. That is in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, Kshetragnya Yoga. Again, these terminologies, we should be clear what they mean. Kshetra means the physical body, the mind, mental body, stool body, sukshma. This is all Kshetra. Kshetragnya is the knower of the kshetra. That's what this is referring to here. That the Jivatma is the knower of all of the field of experience. Then Maharaj goes further. See how beautiful this is. અને પોતાની જ્ઞાન શક્તિએ કરીને નખશિખા પર્યંત સમગ્ર પોતાના દેહ પ્રત્યે વ્યાપીને રહ્યો છે. Now what does this mean? Nakshikha means from nail to head. The entire physical form of the body, this physical body that we see, the Jivatma, by its Gnan Shakti. Whose Gnan Shakti? The Gnan Shakti of the Atma. The Atma has tremendous power. So with that Gnan Shakti, it has a certain power that is Gnan Shakti that works through the brain, through the mind, through the other senses and whatnot. It is abiding in the whole body, everywhere in the body, through Gnan Shakti. And this is really something. That the Jivatma is actually separate from the body. The physical body, the subtle body, and causal body is separate from all three. But by its power, it has a power called Gnan Shakti. That means power to know. That's what that is referring to here. The knower has a power to know. And from that power, that Jivatma is present in every pore of the physical and subtle body. It's present throughout. I'm trying to find the right English word for this. Vyapine rahyo chhe. Vyapine means what? Pervades. In fact, the transition down here is pretty good. It pervades throughout the entire body and knows about its every aspect. That's correct. It pervades. Vyapine means pervading. So for example, if you were to take just water and you put a spoon of sugar in a glass of water and you mix it up, right? Or like heat it up a little bit, every particle of that water is pervaded by the molecules of sugar. But they're different. The water doesn't become the sugar doesn't become the water. They remain different. But the sugar is pervading the water. That's what that is. It is vyapak. The vyapine rayoche means it is abiding within. It is pervading, but it is not that. The Jivatma is not the body. That's why Shriji Maharaj is extremely clear in Shikshapatri, very, very clear, that this is a Shakti, this is a certain power. See, the word Shakti is used here. This is that whole Shakti Upasana stuff that we have been talking about. And that is also connected here. About Prakriti, because it is a power of Prakriti. This Gnan Shakti he is referring to is a power of Mool Prakriti that is available for the Jivatma by the will of the Paramatma residing in Akshara Brahma, residing in Akshardham. This is the Tattva Gnan. That Gnan Shakti is available to the Jivatma because it has been activated by Paramatma in the evolution of the cosmos, in the creative, it's called Utpatti Sarga, in the creation of infinite Brahmanda. This is a very advanced subject to even understand, to think about. But remember what Vachanamrut is saying is that this realization of the Atma Tattva, it's not a conceptual thing. It's not about words and ideas and all that. Those are fine. Those are okay for in the beginning. It's about Akhanda Vritti. And when Akhanda Vritti is there, this truth that Maharaj is pointing out in verse number 105 in Shikshapatri, it becomes the reality for the individual. Otherwise, Sachin can read this shloka. I've been reading this for so many years, last 20, 25 years, so many years, right? But that's just an intellectual understanding of it, which is okay. I can think about it, I can contemplate on it, I can discuss it, I can hear talks about this from sages, which Sachin has done, okay, no problem. But that doesn't mean there is realization of what is this Jeev. And the realization that Maharaj is saying, it's in the heart. That's where in the location is the heart. But it's not like a physical location. We think, well, let me see if I, open up the heart, can I see the Jiva? No, it's not like that. It is the Atma Tattva. What has really happened is that subtle Atma Tattva has been given a physical body, a subtle body. The causal body is the expression of the original beginningless attachment to Mahamaya. That is the Tattva Gnan of Swaminarayan Tattva Gnan. So that point is perhaps more difficult to understand. So how can I say this? Maharaj is saying that this Chaitanya Jivatma residing in the heart, it's not simply that it is residing in the heart. The heart, meaning the physical body and all, is like a projection. It's surrounding the Jivatma. It's something given to the Jivatma to experience the world of Prakriti, so that it can eventually come out of it. That is why Maharaj already stated here that it is the knower, Jannaro. It is the knower. The knower and the known. And then the unknown. Unknown is the Jivatma doesn't know itself. Jivatma cannot know itself. Jivatma has to realize itself. What does the Jivatma know? It can know the body and the mind and all that through its Gnan Shakti. But when all that energy comes back to itself, it realizes itself. It's not that it knows itself. We can make that distinction. So the distinction is that the Jivatma is knowing the realm of Prakriti, the realm of the three bodies, the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti Avastha. It's knowing that. Jannaro che, as Maharaj said, and through its Gnan Shakti. Potani, whose Gnan? Ane Potani Gnan Shakti. Jivatma has its own power. Think about that. And Potani means its own power. Potani Gnan Shakti karine. Means through that Gnan Shakti, from that Gnan Shakti, it is residing in every part of the physical body and the subtle body, etc. But he's talking about the physical body here. Nak Shikha Paryanta Samagra Potana Deha. Potano Deha means the body that the Jivatma considers as mine. Deha means body here. Physical body. And specifically because this is referring to physical body, nakthi, I didn't pronounce that correctly, nakthi shikha paryanta samagra potana deha. See, in the Sanskrit there is vyapya khilam tanum, gnata vyapya khilam tanum, gnana shaktya stito jivo. Amazing. How amazing this is. Have we ever considered who we are? In Vachanamrut, Garada Pratham number 20, there is such a insistence by Maharaj, realize who you are, know thyself. This is what Shankaracharya Ji and all Acharyas have taught. Realize thyself. So this is expressing here that the Gnan Shakti is such that it is present through the Jivatma. It's its own energy, its own power to get immersed in, to pervade. It's a pervading power. To pervade the body. And in that pervading, in Nakshikya Parenta Potana Deha Pratte. Deha Pratte means this body, for that body, towards that body, through that Vyapine Rayo che, Vyapak. Vyapine means it's residing in everywhere. It's residing in every part of the body. But it's through the Gnan Shakti. Rayo che ane. Okay, so he said that much. Now again, by the way, that is what gives us the experience of living in the body. That's how the brain and mind, again, psychology, neurology, and neuroscience and cognitive neuroscience have not gotten to this point. This shlok number 105 is way, way beyond that. You can take all the books in psychology and neurology and neuroscience. They're not even, where they all stop, this begins. And the only way this is realized is by akhanda vritti, or that's one of the ways. Or through different yoga sadhana, people have tried to realize, that's a different subject. But where all the worldly knowledge stops, because that worldly knowledge is part of the known, part of the information coming through the senses. This is that which knows, is aware, is the knower of all that is coming through the senses and the mind. And at the same time is present through its Jnana Shakti throughout the entire body. What a statement this is. When Maharaj, it is said Maharaj wrote this himself, Shikshapatri. I think actually he must have dictated, one of the other Paramahansas wrote it. That's probably what happened. And actually there's a place in Vartal where this was written. It's a very famous, well-known place. And Shikshapatri is a very well-known, it is like a foundational scripture. It is the Agnya of Sajanand Swami for all of his devotees. But it covers the whole range of Adhyatma. And we're just beginning to talk about it now in connection to Vachanamrut. So, the point that Maharaj is making, that this Jivatma, by its Jnana Shakti, is existing in legs and in the arms and in the ears and in the nose, that is our experience. But it's through its power it is experiencing. Now you can go further into this. How it connects with the three gunas of Maya, how it connects with the 9 chakras, all that stuff is already implied in this. All of that understanding of the connection from the Jivatma to the external world is implied in this. That is why these Swaminarayan scriptures are all extractions, they're saransh, they're quintessence. Thousands of ideas are embedded in every word in the Shikshapatri shloks. It's not a small thing. You can take all of Advaita Vedanta and put that inside this verse. It is like that. So Maharaj is saying here, the next point he makes about the Jivatma is as follows, that it is achedya. Achedya means it is unbroken. You cannot cut it. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. This is the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, that talks about that the Jivatma cannot be cut, cannot be wet, this is all described in the Gita. So this is a reference from there, that the achedya. Achedya means it cannot be cut, it cannot be broken, it cannot be damaged, it cannot be harmed, it cannot be killed. That is achedya. The next thing he says about the Jivatma is that it is abhedya. Abhedya means non-dual. There you go, non-dual Advaita Vedanta. Everything in Advaita Vedanta is in this one word, right there in the Shikshapatri Shlok 105. Abhed. No differentiation, no bhedbhav, no diversity also of Prakriti. The Prakriti and its diversity is due to Mahamaya and from the experiences that come through the three bodies and all that. That has its glory too. Maharaj is not denying that. But he's talking about the Atma Tattva itself. The Atma Tattva, the Jeev, he's using the word Jeev here because he's talking about its oneness with the three bodies. But then now when he's using this language in the second part of the verse, Achedya, Abhedya, Ajar, Amar, he's talking about the Vyatirek Swarup. He's talking about that aspect, that's Tattva, that is not bound. It is the unbounded Tattva. Achedya means uncuttable, unbreakable. Abhedya means non-dual. No, bhed means this versus this versus that, this versus this. No, that's not there. It is abhedya. It is also ajar. Ajar means imperishable. It cannot be, it is not something that is going to come and go. Bodies come and go. Experiences come and go. But not the Jivatma is not born, nor is it going to die, and it is also not created by God. It is Sanatana, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Gita also says. Although Bhagavan Krishna says it is a fragment of my being. That is Vishishta Advaita. It is residing in the body of Paramatma. So, this is so amazing. That the indestructible nature, the Jivatma is indestructible. If we meditate on this fact, on this verse, on this truth about what is the Jivatma, to conceptually hold that Maharaj is describing the Jivatma is in this particular way, that is who I am. I am indestructible. My God. And with this understanding, do the Murti Upasana, the Upasana of Paramatma, whichever Swarup one may like. Do the Upasana. One moves into fearlessness right away. All the fear is gone completely from the mind. One permanently gone. Just in this word Ajar. The next word is Amar. Amar means immortal. Always, we are immortal beings. So these are the lakshanas. Maharaj says, Ane achedya. He says here, this is the whole line here. Ane achedya, abhedya, ajar, amar, ityadik, che lakshan jena. Lakshan, what does this mean? These are some of the aspects, these are some of the qualities, we can say, some of its attributes of the Jivatma. That is who we are. Ane achedya, abhedya, ajar, amar, ityadik che lakshan jena. Evo jeev che em janvo. Now this is interesting. He's saying here that this is how the jeev is. This jeev is like this. It has these qualities of this type. And Maharaj is asking the devotees to understand. Janvo means to understand mentally, conceptually, because it is a conceptual understanding in the beginning. To conceptually understand the jeev is this way. And when you conceptually understand, when a person conceptually understands the jeev this way and holds on to that understanding with shraddha, that what Maharaj has written here is not some fantasy, fanciful, something he made up. He woke up one day and had a dream and wrote this thing. No, not that. He is speaking from his own realizations that this is so. Many, many places he's talked about the realization of the Atma. So this is not something written out of fantasy or some cock and bull story. This is actually the essence of so many thousands of scriptures who came before Maharaj. And it's also in his own anubhav that this is so. So to understand the Jivatma in this complete way and to say, this is who I am, that's an intellectual understanding. Okay, fine. Now let's go back to Vachanamrut. Now when we go back to Vachanamrut, what do we find? Again, the word Jiva appears here. Maharaj is saying, when there is Akhanda Vritti established by the grace of Paramatma, and the Bhakta wants to see, not see through these eyes. It is a spiritual vision, internal vision. Wants to see, wants to experience, wants to have anubhav of the jeev. Not just one's own jeev, of thousands or all the jivatma in the Brahmand or even beyond that or whatever it might be. Infinite, all the way up to infinity. Whatever God sees regarding the jivatma, and the infinite number of jivatma, that same vision can be given by Paramatma in Akhanda Vritti to the Bhakta. I mean, this is mind-bogglingly, I don't even know how to describe this. It's not describable, really. There are Ananta Koti, infinite Jivatma, that are living in infinite Brahmand with their own karma, interacting with the world of Prakriti, and Parabrahma Paramatma, residing in Akshara Brahma, residing in the Akshara Dham, knows all of them at one time. Without time, there's no factor of time, knows everything. And so that knowledge, sarvagnata, of everything that they're doing, everything that is going on in their lives, and the Atma Tattva itself of each, that is each Jivatma, all of that can be realized just with a desire that props up in Akhanda Vritti. See the glory of Akhanda Vritti is mind-bogglingly, it's beyond the mind completely. It is where Bhagavan, see, it's like in the Gita, Sri Krishna Bhagavan gave Arjun this Divya Chakshu, Divyam Dadamite Chakshuhu. But that was to see the Virat Purush, and that's only one of the Virat Narayan. There are infinite number of Virat Narayan like that. And inside infinite number of Virat Narayan, infinite number of Jivatma are there. So the Bhakta, by the Krupa of Paramatma, if the Bhakta says, I want to see the Jivatmas, he can see the whole thing. Because it's not he that is seeing, it is the Paramatma that is allowing that Jivatma to have that absolute transcendental vision, which is not possible to even describe. It is even beyond any known samadhi. Whether it is nirvikalpa samadhi, these are just words we're using. It is beyond nirvikalpa samadhi. It is not described. It is even, how can we say, one who is like the Paramatma in Akshardham, that is called Akshar Mukta. Those Akshar Muktas have all these powers because they are like the Purushottam. They are Purusha and Bhagavan is Purushottama. They are Mukta and that is Mukteshwar. That is another thing. We will get to all that later on. So today we will stop here. I'll just do a small prarthana. Om Shri Swaminarayan Namaha. Om Bhagavate Shri Sahajananda Swami Maharajaya Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Dhyanamulam Guror Murti Mantramulam Guror Vakyam Pujamulam Guror Padam Mokshamulam Guror Krupa. Om Shri Hari.